The worm is back, and crazier than ever. If you've played the first game, you should pretty much know what to expect here, but being Earthworm Jim, there's bound to be surprises. Hopefully funny ones. The main thing that stands out is that there's more variety this time around. Platforming only accounts for about half the game. The rest is made up of different types of gameplay styles, none of which are as good as the platform levels, but hey, at least they add a bit of spice. And if you don't like a level, there's a handy level skip code that's easy enough to do too. Meanwhile, Jim's still got a thing for cows. After each level you see this.
Well done.
And there's a hilarious level later in the game where you need to carry cows to a milking station to open the gates. Love it. Check out this sub-level. I was absolutely mortified when I first saw it. Psychro tosses newborn baby puppies out of the window and Jim has to use a marshmallow to bounce them over to Peter Puppy for safety. And it's kind of difficult, so puppies end up squishing all over the ground. Is this not the most disturbing thing you have ever seen in a video game? The worst part is you have to do this level 3 times over the course of the game. Not only is it horrendous to watch the puppies splatter, but the level itself isn't that much fun anyway. I do like the 3D effect on Psychro's house though. The humour is still brilliant. The ending really made me laugh. I wouldn't presume to say that Earthworm Jim is a really good game, but it stands the test of time simply because it's worth playing for the off-the-wall humour. Secret of Evermore copped a whole lot of flack when it was released, and there was a reason for that. It came out in late 1995, clearly labelling itself as a follow-up to Secret of Mana, even down to the font of the title, and this was at the same time that everybody was eagerly awaiting the real sequel, Seiken Densetsu 3. That game would never come, but Secret of Evermore, that was here right now, and it was American. You see, Square opened up an American game studio in Seattle and gave them a simple directive: make a game like Seiken Densetsu but tailor it to an American audience. So while Secret of Evermore looks a lot like a Seiken game on the surface, it was made by a completely different team and feels like a completely different game. It starts off in everyday America, where a teenage boy and his dog stumble across an abandoned warehouse and suddenly get sucked into an alternate universe, where the dog's appearance has changed somewhat. They soon stumble upon a primitive village run by a young girl, and she tells the boy that he's in the land of Evermore, in the prehistoric region. This is a world where the far distant places in people's imaginations become reality. It's a cool concept for a story. I wish someone would make a movie of it. As the boy visits different areas born out of different people's minds, the dog's appearance changes as well, which is kinda cute. I like him as a poodle. So if you want to make a game for Americans, what's the one thing that Americans are nuts for? Movies. So the main character, who's a kind of Marty McFly kind of guy, is a movie nut, and he's constantly referencing made-up movies. It's moderately funny. The first couple of times anyway. While the battle system is generally whack the baddies with whatever your stick du jour is, the magic system has a few original concepts. Instead of MP, all of the magic spells are cast by combining different items together, so it's not magic so much as alchemy. An interesting concept, but it's annoying if you happen to run out of one of the ingredients for a healing spell mid-battle. The enemies are also frustratingly good at dodging your attacks, and even when you manage to hit them, there's a chance it'll do that standard RPG miss thing, which is even more frustrating. While you're constantly followed by your trusty pooch, and you can switch to control the dog if you like, there's no multiplayer aspect in this game. Not a deal breaker for a solo player like me, but compared to Secret of Mana... The music and sound effects work fine, but it's quite a departure from the norm. Instead of tuneful melodies, the game is mostly soundscapes and atmospheric ambience. It's not bad, but a bit disappointing if you're comparing it to Secret of Mana, which you really shouldn't, but you will. I sure did. Which basically sums up the game's main problem. You cannot help but compare this to the game it's modelled on, and in pretty much every category it comes up short. I really feel for the Seattle crew. They were pretty much given an impossible task. And Evermore is a perfectly fine game in its own right, but it's quite simply not in the same league as the Seikens, and as for being a substitute for missing out on Seiken 3, not even close. Coming up next week, It's back to that galaxy far, far away. I hope it's more enjoyable than the last one, and a strange Japanese weird thing that most people have probably never heard of. Hooray! See you then. Peace out.